We're gonna have Valentine's Day brunch
We're
together,
gonna,
are we?
I was just about to say,
This is kind of interesting.
This is nice.
Okay, I didn't know I was signing up for this. That's fine.
That was the
champagne?
surprise.
Champagne?
The surprise was is that you were making this for us.
Ah, okay.
So what do we have here? This looks fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a piquillo pepper and ricotta cheese frittata. Yeah, with heart-shaped cut for there's a hair on it. Heart-shaped cut for Valentine's Day, and we have custardy French toast with bananas Foster.
Well, tell me how you made this first heart-shaped dish.
It's really, really simple. It's all the ingredients into a bowl, whisk it together, and put it into an oven.
What is actually what
Oh, you want to know the ingredients?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to rewind
I
the
know.
tape.
I'm asking for a lot
Rewind
here.
the tape.
I know.
So it's piquillo pepper, scallion, ricotta cheese, cheddar cheese, salt, baking powder, and flour. Eggs, obviously. Whisk together.
And just with a heart-shaped cutout at the end? It looks great. It's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our French toast.
Yeah. So the French toast is maybe a little bit more complicated, but it's probably has a little bit more effect for Valentine's Day because it's super, super sweet. It's a brioche bread soaked overnight in an egg custard with vanilla.
So this does take some thought if you're doing something.
Yeah,
overnight.
but you can do it. Most of the stuff could be done the day before.
Okay.
Yeah, and then roasted bananas in a mixture of maple syrup, rum, dark brown sugar.
Ooh.
Yeah, and butter.
Oh my goodness, very, very healthy.
Yeah. One day a month you can kind of splurge. It should be on Valentine's Day probably.
So now for people in our chat room who are watching who are thinking, all right, we're not going to do brunch, but I'm a total beginner and I really want to make a nice Valentine's Day dinner for my sweetheart. Yeah. What would you recommend? Again, a true beginner.
Dinner?
For dinner. For beginner.
I don't know. I mean, for me, when it comes to making dinner for someone else, I want to spend as much time with them as possible. So I don't want to spend all night in the kitchen preparing. Right. So I always think simple is better for me. So I would do like a roasted chicken, something large that you can kind of like stick in the oven and walk away from, come back 45 minutes later and it's ready.
And what do you recommend for sides?
I don't know. I mean, this is the season of squash and mushrooms. I think I would go there.
And a dessert?
I don't know. I think chocolate. It has to be chocolate on Valentine's Day, right?
Strawberries and chocolate. What else is there?
Right, exactly. Champagne, you know.
So tell me about, we're going to switch gears a little bit from Valentine's Day. I want to hear about this temporary restaurant that Rick just told me about. It sounds really cool here in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's in Soho. We just opened about 3 weeks ago. We're still kind of getting our legs, but it seems to be going very well.
I haven't really ever heard of a temporary restaurant. What exactly does that mean?
So it means that in 9 months it's going to be gone. So we basically built a restaurant as it's more of a, think of it more as a museum space than really a restaurant. So it's really a temporary space where creativity can exist. One of those parts of creativity is food. The others are, design and branding, photography, and music. So all of these things are existing inside of the space. So it's a little bit less like a restaurant that one would expect, even though you're still going to dine and eat while there.
Well, it sounds like a great atmosphere, though, to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, so fun, and because I have a restaurant uptown, which is maybe a little bit more serious and stuffy, it's kind of nice to come downtown and let loose a little bit.
Now, the menu changes every month. Is that right?
Yeah. So for the duration, every month, the menu, the musical composition, and the interior design will change. Iterations once per month.
Does it all kind of have a theme and flow in some way?
Yeah. It's not quite as obvious as one might think. Like, we're in France now, and next month we're in Germany. It's not quite like that. It's a little bit more implied and less described.
I can imagine that with all these creative people, it's rather challenging to come up with a different menu and theme per se per month.
I agree, but there's a lot of growth going on. I mean, for me especially, because normally I'm the person inspiring inside of the restaurant. I'm the one that's dictating constantly. So for me to be in a collaborative with others, it's pretty cool.
Now, in terms of cost, can somebody expect just a price on the menu per item as any other restaurant?
No, it's a prefix, so it's $58 for food. That's straight, and it's 3 courses. So it's an appetizer, entree, and then we have the dessert is actually on a cart, so it kind of gets wheeled around the dining room and plated in front of you.
So what's on the menu this month?
So this month, it sort of exists in kind of a Scandinavian area in terms of the food style. So, I mean, my favorite dish on the menu is fried potato skins with wheat beer fondue and pickled sausage. It's fantastic.
I want to talk about Dovetail a little bit, because what I think is really interesting about your restaurant is you're one of the few restaurants in New York City that have a very extensive sherry menu. Yeah. Tell me the importance of that.
I fell in love with sherry. I was a cook in Paris for over a year, and afterwards I sort of took a walk around Europe, and I was in Spain, and I had no money, and sherry was basically the only thing I could afford to drink. But I didn't really know that it could, in America, until I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years ago, it was only sweet sherry. You could only really drink something that was like, it was kind of like one glass and done. But in Spain, there exists a dry sherry, so it's something you would drink with like an appetizer. So it's something that I wanted to introduce into the restaurant and pair with food, and it's taken hold pretty well.
Did it take a while to catch on, though, to gain momentum?
Yeah, and I think we still are gaining that momentum. I mean, every day people are surprised, like, I would never think that this was possible. I think the same sort of thing kind of happened in the 90s with sake. When sake was introduced into our culture, and it wasn't just one kind, there's many, many kinds from different regions.
You've spent time working on both sides of the country. Do you miss LA at all?
I miss the beach. Yeah, I mean, I was a beach kid growing up, so I really miss the beach, but aside from that, I think New York is my home.
I always wondered, I've never been to LA. Is the dining experience there different than here in New York?
Yeah, I mean, in LA, it's a lot more about the scene and about who else is dining in the same room, and I think it's changing slowly, but it's still about what's hot. And I think in New York City, it's about, you know, making a statement and people come visit you. I think there's just a lot more of a dining culture and a food culture here.
So it's more about the food here in New York than the scene.
So. Yeah, and also things, you know, the nuanced things that you would never guess. Like, there are professional waiters here in New York City that will work, you know, and professional cooks. They're not just, you know, out of work actors. Right. So you have, you know, you're surrounded by real professionals.
Now, you started in anthropology, didn't you?
Yeah.
Talk about a switch from anthropology
to...
You didn't know what you were signing up for, did you?
What's going
you had
on?
no idea. Romantic brunch for two.
Yeah, right, totally.
Do you like long walks on the beach?
Yeah, therapy's on Thursday, lady. I don't know what you're doing here.
So I'm just curious to know how you go from anthropology to a cooking passion.
I mean, cooking it's all about being a craftsperson, and I grew up with a very blue collar, you know, family. So it suits me really well. I'm still very interested in anthropology, and I still like to travel and explore, but to make a career out of anthropology is probably as difficult as making a career as a chef, basically. You know, you have to really, really work hard. But there's something about cooking that's very rewarding and immediate. You know, you can make something and feed it to someone, you can see the immediate satisfaction. Anthropology is a little less so. It's a little bit more observation rather than interaction.
This must be a really great way to get girlfriends and land dates. I mean, as a male chef in the city, it's got to be. I mean, I'm sure women think how great that this guy can prepare this amazing meal.
Let me tell you a little story about that. You want to date someone who works 90 hours a week?
Are you single then? I guess the answer is yes.
Someone just asked, we were talking about love letters earlier, so someone was asking him to get John's love letters.
That's right. Do you have any of your old love letters from elementary school?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they must have been lost in the fire. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
You're not the romantic who holds on to them?
I don't think so. Maybe my mom does.
You'll have to ask your mom.
Sentiment stake.
You'll have to ask your mom and then let us know.
Yeah, right.
And before you go, I'd like to ask all of our chefs, especially because I'm trying to start to learn how to cook a little bit better. If I had to have 5 ingredients in my cabinet at all times, what do you recommend that they should be?
In my contract said I would have all the questions ahead of time. I'm not gonna. What the hell is this?
You're not coming back to this show, are you?
Okay, here we go. Ready? Salt. Salt's the first one, right? Really good extra virgin olive oil. Your kitchen cabinet or also your refrigerator?
Anywhere.
Oh, okay. How many was that?
That was 2.
Okay.
But now, how do you find the best extra virgin olive oil? Because there's so many options to choose.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get what you pay for with olive oil. It's just like gold and diamonds. You get what you pay for. You can go to the store and you can see. I mean, I would recommend going to some places like Zabar's or something where you can see something kind of fine, right? Okay. So we were salt and olive oil.
Salt and olive oil. I like putting you on the spot.
Yeah, right. That's a good question. Can we say tools also, like a couple of tools?
All right, I'll give you tools.
Okay. I think a mandolin is one of them, a Japanese mandolin, so you can slice things very, very thinly. And I love like a fruit salad sliced very thinly. It's texturally kind of interesting. I would say good coffee, right?
That's 5.
How about, was that 5?
You made it to 5.
Okay, perfect.
Did he? Salt.
Salt, oil,
Oil.
the mandolin, fruit slicer.
Oh, no, yeah, the mandolin was a fruit
That's
slicer.
right, yeah, I thought we were on
Oh,
there
okay.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Don't let him off the hook,
One
Rick.
more.
Yeah, right? Thank you. I'll pay you later.
Our chat room is watching, expecting all of these great, great ingredients from the
like,
chef.
yeah, just come on, it's like shell shock. I just came off stage, you know. It was really hard work for 3.5 minutes. I don't know. I guess the 4th would have to be, or the 5th rather, would have to be like, it would have to be some kind of cheese, right? How about Brie Savarin? A triple cream.
All right, we'll take that. Those are all great suggestions. Thank you very much for coming on the show. The torture's over. I'll let you go. Enjoy your breakfast. Bye, John. Thank you.